皆さん、こんばんは。僕の名前は白メシコ人です。この映画は私たちは一緒に見ませんか? Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again with another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. I have a plethora of stuff that I want to showcase for you guys tonight, and there is quite a bit of tabs here, as you can see, so it's going to be a little bit more on the lengthier side of videos. I'm going to be showcasing my personal selections for you guys tonight, and I hope you enjoy. Getting things started tonight is going to be Time Thief Redoer. This is the last print produced here in the TCG as a prismatic secret rare from the 2020 tins. This card's really cool. It's pretty diverse, has 3 different effects right here. A generic level 4, 2 level 4s, so definitely one of the more easier XYZs to whip out. Cool Psychic too. Really cool artwork, and again, just being a beautiful rarity of prismatic secret. Really, really great stuff here. And this card is insanely cheap. And I think for what it is, it just definitely needed some spotlight because it's doing some really awesome stuff in the game. I haven't really seen a lot of people play this. I tech in one of these, and some depending on the deck I'm playing. I just really like it a lot. And this card is just insanely cheap. I mean, all across the board, it's like roughly around 2 bones, pretty much, after you factor in shipping. There's 13 stack here, so plenty availability on the market here, 5+ pages. But this is a really great card, and I'm just really curious why it's so cheap. And I know it's really hard to, the extra deck's small. It's only 15 cards, so it's really hard to make room for a card like this. But it puts in business for what it is. I think it's really cool and insanely affordable right now. So next card up is going to be Medion, the Time Lord. So Time Lords in general are a little tricky to deal with, and we don't really run into them a whole lot. Definitely not a really popular deck, but they come in and about every once in a while. I ran into them a couple times online. They've got some pretty insane effects. All the monster cards have some really insane effects. And this is if I'm not mistaken, I believe the OG, the very first Time Lord. It was it came solo before there was actual like a full-on deck and all these different ones. I'm pretty sure this was the first one, downing way back in the day of Photon Shockwave. This is a very, very old set, roughly around the time of Generation Force and Order of Chaos, when we got Inzectors, and of course, Generation Force was a really great set that donned us XYZ mechanics here in the TCG. So a lot of great history merit on that. Of course, they printed this as a high rarity of a secret rare, which is really, really nice. Artwork is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie, the little face here in the center of the core is really kind of creeping me out here, but really cool effect. The sheer fact that this card, you can just summon it and then pretty much compulse the field that end of that turn is pretty incredible. And this is just, I don't know, there's something about this card. I just really like this card a lot, and it's relatively cheap right now. I mean, the Unlimiteds alone, lightly played, they're like 2 bones before you factor in shipping, 2-3 bones. Not really much of a big deal. It's the first editions that start to go up a little bit. Our first edition here is about 5 bones. It's a lightly played here from the bottom of the first page. Only 4 pages here on the market. And then we get another lightly played, again, first edition for about 5 bones. About 531. Our first near mint first editions. Here's a 2 stack from Yada's Crypt. It's a really cool name. I love the bird. And it's going for about 5.5 bones. So really cool card again. And then here's all the other ones. I think the majority of these they were reprinted in the Battles of Legends as Ultras. Medion was a secret. I don't remember what the original OG prints are for these, unless these are the extension of the deck archetype. But anyway, really great stuff for Medion. Next is going to be Magical Spring. So I go in and out of talking about this card. This kind of with, what's the other card that I always mix this in? Is it the other quick play magic card that you can play that's basically like a maxi? If they pick up a card from the graveyard or from the deck, you get to draw 1. I can't remember. It's like Mistaken something or something like Mistake, or I can't remember. Anyway, really great stuff. This is kind of the other side of the dice to this. There's 2 prints of this. The Duelist Alliance, of course, being the original secret rare. There's also a mirrored secret rare reprint in one of the mega packs. I don't remember. I think it was mega pack 14 or 15. I can't remember. So some white Mexican theory for you guys. Personally, I don't mind. Back in the day, the the mega packs used to reproduce the same rarities, which was kind of cool because it just made getting high rarity that much more affordable, which I thought was a pretty cool ploy by Konami. So at least up to the 2018 Megatins. 2018 was the last Megatin where they produced the mirror matched rarities. My rule of thumb is if you can get the reprint, the Mega Pack reprint at half price, obviously, or half price or less than the original OG first edition prints from the core sets, go with the reprints. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Of course, the original prints are always going to hold a little bit more value, but when it's really literally 50% off sale prices, I personally would prefer getting the reprints because it's the same rarity, and it's going to be, obviously, you want to go for the first editions as well. So that's all I'm going to say about this. This is a really cool card, though. Just an alternative draw powerhouse card. Really cool artwork. Of course, it being a high rarity of secret rare makes it really, really nice. And of course, it being a quick play, it's diverse. You can set it or you can activate it from your hand on your turn. A little bit of diversity there for all of us. So really great stuff. And this card is insanely cheap. Again, this is the original print we're talking about here. And this is, again, there is the Mega Pack reprint. So check that out. I think that's going for about a half bone right now. So it is. I'm pretty sure it's roughly around a half bone. But anyway, so you can decide which print that you find best suit for you. Again, just remember they're both the same rarity, so keep that in mind. Unlimiteds here are pretty much a bone all across the board, and then no first editions on the first page here. 5 pages here on the market. First edition we're going to get here is roughly around 2 bones, and there's a 3 stack, and that's for near mint first edition. So this card's insanely cheap, and who knows? I mean, it's pretty situational, but the offset and the plus behind it is really, really fantastic. So I definitely wanted to spotlight this card. Next is going to be Majestys Fiend. So last summer, I really got into this card a lot. I kind of went on a little spree. I bought several of these. I think I bought 2 or 3 playsets of this first edition OG prints. There is an ultra and a super rare print. Obviously, this being the original rarity as highest rarity of secret rare, downing out of primal origin. This is going to be the ideal choice for the majority players, I would say. If you want to drop the cash for it, which really isn't that much. This card is an insane card. It's a 1 tribute. It's a light fiend, 24 attack. And monster effects cannot be activated, just straight up. So kind of like an Inspector Border allure around it. It's got really cool artwork, and of course, being a secret rare, it looks really, really nice. I think this card is extremely undervalued. I know back, I think it was either May or June time frame when I picked up my copies of this. I got first editions. I believe the majority of them were near mint, but some of them were probably lightly played, roughly around for 5 bones. They're pretty much 5 bones across the board when I personally bought them. We can see lightly played first editions sitting at about 7.5 bones right now. There's a 7 stack here, and then there's, when you factor in shipping, it's pretty much, again, 750 here when you add in the shipping here. So it's increased a little bit. This card is just really, really good. I think it's still even undervalued for what it is, even though it's trickled up a small amount in price point. I still think it's very, very very affordable for what it does. And here's a 2 stack for 750. I'm trying to find you guys a near mint for all you Advent near mint lovers. Here's a near mint first edition, and those are going for about a little over 10. So definitely a price increase on the near mints, jump from the LP to the NMs. So really great stuff with Majestys. Next is going to be Wabaku. So of late, I've fallen back into my old love, my roots of anti-meta. I've always been an Advent anti-meta player. I love building different plethoras of anti-meta builds, and I love it. It is what it is. That's just kind of the white Mexican is an anti-meta player, at true to heart, and I love Wabaku. I love Wabaku so much. Unfortunately, right now in the current build that I'm running, I only have room for 1 copy. I would totally run a playset of this card. That's how much I love this card so much. And there's of course, the highest rarity that we have. Unfortunately, we do not have a hollow foil here in the TCG. Not yet. I'm really hoping. I think this would look gorgeous in secret rare, maybe even super rare, but more specifically secret rare would just look so beautiful. I really hope that Konami would gift us with a secret rare print. But There is a dual terminal 3 common here, which is still very, very amazing. Again, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, I'm a really, really big avid investor in dual terminal and Duelist Saga. If you guys don't know the kind of history behind that, Duelist Saga is like full-on solo print. That rarity has not been reproduced or manufactured here in the TCG. It's the only set that has that kind of special Star Wars lightsaber looking rarity of ultra rare. And dual terminal, of course, is discontinued. Of course, the battle packs came out and they kind of falsified, tried to mimic the dual terminal rarities, and kind of just flopped. And no one really, there's not very many cards in the battle packs that ever really held much value. So that was it. After the battle packs, that was it. DT, it was completely discontinued, and Konami has not pushed any communication of trying to reproduce the dual terminal cards or bring them back. So you can see here, Battle Pack 2, War of the Giants. This produced a Mosaic Rare, which is the same thing as dual terminal. It's just kind of it's the same rarity, but it's like a different design. And of course, the dual terminal 3, it's the polka dot sprinkle, birthday sprinkle, polka dot cupcake looking design. Really, really cool. It's roughly around 13 bones pretty much across the board. Looks like there's 14 listings, so you guys have to dig deeper if you guys are interested in getting the amazing highest rarity of the dual terminal. The Mosaic rares are roughly between 2 and 4, or 2 and 3.5. But personally, I wouldn't disregard this. I wouldn't really, if you're going to go full on high rarity, you're going to want to go DT. DT is always going to be infinitely better than the Mosaic rare from Battle Pack. If you're not going to drop the money for the dual terminal, I would recommend you go for some of the original OG first editions, which is going to be Gen 1 stuff. As referring to Starter Deck Joey, you're going to want to go to a Starter Deck Joey first edition copy, which are relatively cheap. They're like under a bone. A Starter Deck Pegasus first edition, which is under a bone. Starter Deck Yugi, I think these are a little over a bone, just being Starter Deck Yugi, and Yugi being super popular in the anime, and all these, big in the anime. But these are all Gen 1 Starter Decks. They're extremely old, and of course, only go for the first editions. Always go first editions. Unfortunately, Starter Deck Kaiba didn't come with this. Joey got it, Pegasus, and Yugi. The only fourth deck out of the Gen 1s was Kaiba, so that's kind of interesting enough that it didn't get reprinted on that. So really great stuff. Reasoning behind this, why I run this, and why I love this card in general, is it's chainable. So if anything, if it gets MST, Twin Twistered, Cycloned, Harpy's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm, when it comes off the list, whatever it may be, you can chain it, and its effects still protects your monsters, and it saves you a turn, essentially, especially if your opponent's about to go in for the final kill. So really great stuff, and the artwork is just phenomenal, and it's an insanely ancient card too. It still holds up. So the next card is going to be another Gen 1 classic, kind of on the lesser known side, Ordeal of a Traveler. So several different common prints, all common prints. This is definitely the best rarity in my opinion, being the OG print from the infamous Pharaonic Guardian. Pharaonic Guardian was an amazing set, one of my all-time favorite Gen 1 core sets. When I say Gen 1, I'm referring to the first 13 core sets of the game here in the TCG, LOB, Legend of Blue Eyes, through RDS, Rise of Destiny. Rise of Destiny also happened to be the last core set that donned Yugi, or had Yugi as the fanboy, as the part of the booster pack package artwork, which is really cool. So that's why I consider that the end of Gen 1 era, in my personal opinion. But Pharaonic Guardian donned us Gravekeepers, and I love Gravekeepers so much that deck is just one of my all-time old-school favorite archetypes, and it's just, I love Egyptian stuff too, and Pharaonic Guardian was a very heavily influenced by Egyptian roots, and as you can see, this Egyptian Sphinx right here is really great. So it is a common, so really not a big deal. I mean, they're the only print of this in the TCG are commons. This being the original one, of course, would be the oldest and the best one to get for value and collectability wise. And the thing behind this card is it's just a continuous pulse. Now, like compulsory evacuation device is what I'm talking about. The thing with this card though is it is to a certain extent based on luck, and I do not like luck chance cards. I usually do not run any type of form of luck chance cards, but depending on what deck you're playing, and you're in control for the most part to set your hand up, to put the odds in your favor. You know, having a magic, having a trap, having a monster, and just keeping it. You know, you're in control of that for the most part, depending on the circumstances. So with that being said, and the sheer fact that it's a continuous trap card here, so you can use it repetitively over and over and over on your opponent's turn and just keep on compulsing their monsters, and it just completely stops attacks dead in their tracks and just bounce the cards back in the hand potentially. I can't get over that. It's so insane. And this is like a Gen 1 air card. It's super, super old. I just love this card a lot. But the sheer fact, again, it's somewhat situational, and you need to have your hand set up right for it. And even at that point, it makes it kind of a luck card. So I usually tech this in as 1 in the side, but I don't usually go beyond that. But I really love this card for all those aspects that I mentioned. Unlimited lightly plays are roughly around a bone before you factor in shipping. There's no first editions on the first page. 3 pages here on the market for TCGP. And the first edition that we get is roughly around 2 bones before you factor in shipping. That's a lightly played. Then it goes to about 3 plus shipping. And then our first near mint first edition is going to be roughly around 3 bones. And that happens to be a 2-stack. Actually, I'm sorry, 291 for a 2-stack here. So really great stuff for Ordeal. Next is going to be Dark Bribe. So again, the majority of the reason why I'm showcasing this card is because I've just really been in the anti-meta spirit. I've been playing a lot online, messing around with different tweaks and adjustments to my anti-meta builds. And this card has been a very, very big impact in a positive way. Normally, I was not running this card with Judgment being at 3. I never really had an issue, never really saw a need to put this in. Been doing a little bit of research on the tube and seen a lot of other players usually tech this into around 2 at minimum. This card is very, very good. At first, I didn't want to run it because I don't like giving my opponent a card. Hence why the majority of players wouldn't even really think about running this card. But the sheer fact this card is a counter trap, and there's really nothing that they can counter to it besides another Judgment or another counter trap card in general. It's a very, very powerful quick card. Has the sheer diversity to negate any magic, you know, besides like super polymerization or something like that. But for the most part, any magic, any trap card, which is just completely blowout. It's a counter trap, so it's really fast. And that, yeah, they technically, it technically pluses them 1 per se, but when you're playing a deck where you really, really need to defend your board, like anti-meta as an example, that's not going to really matter. If they need to knock out whatever it may be, one of your big floodgates, say there can only be 1, as an example. They have that MST, that Twin Twister, that Harpy's Feather Duster, that Cyclone, whatever it is. Or they're going for your equip cards or whatever it may be. And you stop that 1 disruption that has just completely changed the game state. Giving them that +1 really is not that beneficial for them at that point. So that is why I tech this in at 1. I think this card is really strong for all the reasons I mentioned before. I think it's definitely a advent choice for running in more than 1, but currently right now, me personally, I only tech this in as a 1-of in my side deck. Really great rarities. We have the Dark Legends Ultra Rare, which is going for a really fat price point, anywhere between 15 and 30 bones. Really, really nice. My personal favorite, and the version I personally prefer, is going to be the super rares from the GX promo cards from the video game. There's just something about promo cards. I really love video game promo cards a lot. And even though it is just a lowly super rare, I am an avid fan of super rares. I really do appreciate super rares a lot, especially game promos. So this is definitely going to take the cake for the White Mexican here. These are ranging between 4 and 8. There's another super rare from the Battle Pack War of the Giants, which is actually going for some really good money. It looks like it's going between 6 and 7 bones here, apparently. You guys have to dig in deeper if you guys want to check that out. There's also the Battle Pack 3 Mosaic rares, which are actually going for around 2, which have kind of the shattered glass mosaic looking shatter foil rare. And the Battle Pack Epic Dong starfoil ones over here are going for roughly, a bone or so. And the majority of the other ones are just commons, if I'm not mistaken, besides the black rares from Battle Packs. So a lot of interesting stuff that they did with the Battle Packs. throughout the release of the different battle packs, they made some pretty cool different adjustments. Like we got, I think it was white rare and black rare. We never had white rare and black rare, so kind of some history merit on that. Again, I don't believe the majority of the player base really picked up or took favor to the battle packs, which is really kind of sad because they kind of did some cool things. The battle pack setup, doing the little like buying the battle packs and trying to like battle out with just the packs that you pulled. I thought that was kind of, I don't know, it was interesting. It was a thought. It was something different. But me personally, and I think the majority of players really just did not take heed to the idea. I really like it. It was cool how they came with mats though. The majority of them came with the little booster packs and they came with mats, and it was a really cool setup. I definitely think I have to give Konami props for that. It was an interesting choice. But Dark Bribe all around really great stuff. So next I want to talk about the champion packs. So a couple videos ago I talked about tournament packs, so I thought it was about time to talk about some champion packs just to continue on the saga of tournament related cards. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe champion pack was right after tournament pack, or vice versa, I can't remember. But either way, insanely old and very, very valuable cards. Champion Pack 1, GOAT players, of course, Metamorphosis, his cards ranging between 500 bones plus. Apparently there's only 5 listings. Book of Moon, several amazing prints of this, including the secret rares from Legendary Collections. I believe it was either 3 or 4. Amazing sets, definitely check those out. But this is the OG Hollow Foil as a super rare. I can't really say OG because the OG was actually a Pharaonic Guardian rare. But I guess the OG Hollow Foil as a super rare from Champion Pack 1, between 150 and almost 500 bones, 540, 550, 450, I'm sorry. Sakuratsu armor, roughly around 200 bones. We have Night Assailant here, about 125 to 200. Satellite Cannon was the ultra rare, the highest rarity from the set, and surprisingly enough, it's the highest rarity in the set, but it has apparently out of the Hollow Foils the lowest price point, between 50 and 61. So interesting stuff on that. Of course, Judgment came out as a rare, which is sitting at some pretty good price points for just a rare. Again, you'll see with the majority of the tournament pack and the champion pack stuff, even the commons and even some of the rares hold really great price value. You can see here Judgment being an amazing card that it is, and it being completely lifted off the list of 3, between 5 and 12. Pot of Avarice, roughly around 3 to 7. Then you got some other cards here, which is pretty cool. Next is going to be Champion Pack 2. One of my all-time favorite Champion Pack Hollow Foils, Magician of Faith. I love this card so much. Of course, we have, I think there was a Speed Duels donned an ultra rare print a while ago, and then also, of course, the infamous Duelist Saga, one and only, produced a Duelist Saga ultra rare, which looks really, really nice. And for the longest time was the only, well, not the only solo print hollow, because Champion Pack 2 is a lot older than Duelist Saga and donned us a super rare. But I just love this card a lot. It's a level 1, it's a light spellcaster. She has a pimp cane, and she has purple hair, and she's wearing these like magical robes, and just, I don't know, this card is really, there's so many awesome history behind this card too. I mean, this goes way back. This takes me way back. White Mexican is an old man now. Back in the day, Cookie Cutter Chaos. We're talking about Black Luster Soldier, Chaos Emperor Dragon, Sangan, Witch of the Black Forest, and Yatagarasu, and just this card. And there's so many fond, amazing memories behind this, and just again, for all the reasons I mentioned, just an amazing card. And of course, obviously, this being the highest rarity, technically, like hardest to get, and just being insanely old as a super rare, really gorgeous too. It's between 380 and roughly around 380, 400 bones apparently. Magical Stone Excavation as an ultra rare, being the highest rarity of the set here, is between 25 and 65. Pyramid Turtle, don't get this confused with the Legendary Collections 3 or 4 super rare. They produced that as a super rare as well. This one is a lot more expensive. Obviously, it's insanely a lot more older in age here, and it's going roughly around 50 bones. Smashing Ground super, between 30 and 45. We have Nimble over here, which is roughly around 40. Abyss Soldier, which is a really cool card, actually. I love this card. I'm a really big Atlantean Mermail player, and I've always thought about, never actually done it, but always thought about teching one of these in. I really like this card. It's a really cool card. Interesting artwork too. This is a rare, which is actually holding really great value here. It's between 9 and 11 bones. There also is a dual terminal common. I think it's a common. It's common or rare. I'm pretty sure it's a common, which is actually my personal favorite print of the card. And it's also going for some good money too. So really cool stuff here. Again, these cards are just so ancient, and collectors, have already been all over and will continue to be all over these sets. So these are all just straight gems. Champion Pack 3 is going to be next. Spirit Reaper. Love this card. Again, back in the day, I used to play this hand destruction deck with like this and Don Zalug and just a whole bunch of crazy like drop-offs and stuff, and it was really fun. This is a super rare version, Dawning. I'm sorry. It's between 212 and 212. Gravekeeper Spy over here. Now remember, Spirit Reaper, even though this is the hardest version to get, I have to choose my words carefully here. It's the hardest version to get as a super rare from Champion Pack 3. There is higher rarities as ultra rares. Again, Legendary Collections, it was either 3 or 4, I can't remember, donned ultra rares, and then also, there's 2 different ultra rare prints. I think it came out, those sets ran parallel, so I think maybe they both produced them as ultra rares, and I want to say there's a couple other, I think there's 2 or 3 ultra rare prints. Oh, the gold rare. There was the one of the gold series. I think it was Haunted Mine, if I'm not mistaken, which again is an amazing set because still the only set in TCG to produce Ghost Gold Rare hybrids, as well as to have the only Ghost, Magic, and Trap cards ever in the TCG produced as MST and Solemn Judgment. So really great stuff behind that. Anyway, Gravekeeper Spy is going to be next. So this is a really great rarity too. Obviously, this is going to be the most desirable rarity of pretty much all time for Spy. Spy having so much history. It was like the Gen 1 tour guide, special like something from the deck was unheard of, besides, Mystic Tomato or the Mystic Tomato and what was the Angel card. And anyway, really great stuff. So this was just really kind of unheard of back in the day, and it was just a really, really, really special thing. And this, of course, being the super rare, it's the hardest version to get. Again, there is a lot of different rarities of this, which are really great alternatives, though. We have the Legendary Collections Secret. There's also an ultra rare, I believe, from Legendary Collections. And then overall, there is the dual terminal rares. Not just common, we're talking about rares, dual terminal rares. They look fantastic. I don't remember which specific dual terminal is from. I've personally invested very, very heavily in majority copies of a plethora of dual terminal stuff, but more specifically Spy, because Spy has just so much history. I love Gravekeepers. It's a dual terminal rare, and the sheer fact that it's Spy. Like, she's got a fat ass of 2K, and it's just the nostalgia factor is just unreal with this card. So this is roughly around 200 to 150 for this version. Snipe Hunter as a super rare between 68-40. You got Magicians Unite, Dark World Lightning, DD Assailant as a rare. Necro Valley is pretty cool as a common, and a bunch of other stuff that we're not really going to talk about right now. Next is going to be Champions Pack 4. We have Bottomless Trap Hole as a super rare. This is very, very nice. I've always loved these old school normal trap cards. Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulse, Torrential Tribute, all this stuff. Again, Legendary Collections 3 and 4 produce some of the most amazing secret rare reprints of these classic Gen 1 trap cards. Really awesome stuff. This is, of course, super rare. It's going between 170 and 200. And remember, there's different versions. It was either 2008 or 2009 Gold Series specifically that produced the most superior gold cards that we've ever had in the TCG. 2009 Gold Series were just fantastic. It was just like a little smidge of gold, and they just like layered it so crispy over the cards like a glazed Krispy Kreme donut. It was just so amazing. And so I really like those specific golds a lot. Of course, we got ultra rare versions and secret rare versions out of the Legendary Collection set, which look really good too. And the super rare is pretty cool too, just the sheer fact that it's super old and collectible. Gurnia 27 to 75. Apprentice Magician. This is actually one of the only Champion Pack holofoils that I have, sadly enough. I really wish I had more, but the majority of the holofoils, super and above, are just, they carry really fat price tags. So you gotta be really tactical with your choices when you're picking these cards up. And it's between 50 and 63 Ultimate Offering. Of course, this was the censored artwork that we got. The original OG artwork on censored in Japan was completely superior to this. It's crazy. But anyway, this is a super rare. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there also is a dual tonal rare, which I would definitely check in. It'd definitely be a healthy alternative to this $80 to $60 to $80 super rare. And remember, this card's banned. Of course, it could. My personal belief, White Mexican Theory, everything comes off the list eventually. It's just a matter of fact if Konami or Rat said or not. So that's all I'm going to say about that, and a couple other cards that are just kind of mute. Champion Pack 5 is going to be next. We got Trap Dust Shoot, another infamous ban card. Really cool. It's got the Dark Scorpion guy over here. 100, 200 bones. Magical Merchant. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the only holofoil of this. We may have gotten another super rare print. I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. I think this is the only holofoil print that we have of this, because I know the original OG was a common on Magician's Force. But this is a really cool card. And 160 to roughly around 190. Wave Motion Cannon. Now, this used to be the only holofoil of this that we had. It was originally, I want to say, again, a Magician's Force common for the longest time. And I think it got like a Dark Revs reprint as a common or something like that. But it got some ultra reprints. And one of the exclusive ultra rare reprint sets, it got an ultra rare bump up, which actually looks pretty alright. But of course, this being insanely old in the first original holofoil as a super rare, between 30 and 50 bones. We have Giant Germ super rares, pretty cool, roughly around 35. The ultra was Fiend Sanctuary, between 30 and 50. And there was a bunch of other kind of random stuff in here. Really, the only thing of note that I really consider would be the Curse Seal, the Forbidden Spell. I would prefer the original Invasion of Chaos first editions, but this is cool because it's Champion Pack, so probably more than likely a lot less these versions produced than the OG prints. Next is going to be Champion Pack 6, so super rare Old Vindictive Magician, between 70 and 80. We have Destiny Hero Fear Monger, which is roughly around 42, 48. Blaze Accelerator, Phoenix Wing Blast, Rigorous Reaver. This was also a censored card in the OCG. There's actually blood tracings on the scythe here, which is really cool. And that's pretty much it. This was kind of definitely probably a really cool card. People actually still play this every once in a while. Soul of Purity and Light. The OG was original common from Labyrinth of Nightmare, I believe. Really cool stuff. Well, actually, really not that great. I think Champion Pack 6 was probably one of the worst ones. 7 is going to be next, Lone Fire Blossom. I really thought we had an ultimate rare of this. Now, granted, this kind of got debunked a little bit because I think it's had multiple super rare reprints. I want to say there's at least two or three other super rare reprints of specifically Lone Fire Blossom. Really amazing plant card. For some reason, this card always reminds me of 4th of July. Like, all the stuff in the background reminds me of exploding fireworks or something. But this is the OG super rare. Donning roughly around 56 and 93, Gladiator Beast Bestiari as a super rare. Donning between roughly around 55, 56. Now, granted, remember, Legendary Collections, I believe it was GX, I believe it was the one that got reprinted this as secret rare, so be aware of that. There is a secret rare print running around. Legendary Jujutsu Master is roughly around 50 to 43. Super rare Threatening War. Again, so this card is literally like mirrors Wabaku. It's pretty much just like 3 additional copies of Wabaku if you're into running 6 in your deck. The only thing is it has to be activated during the battle phase. You can't, which makes it very it makes it, what do you say, sustainable or susceptible, however you want to say it, to being destroyed before you can actually pop it off and activate the effect. So unfortunately, this card really is kind of in my opinion, really inferior to Wabaku. Wabaku was pretty much superior in every way. I can't really think of much of any ways of why anyone would prefer Roar over Wabaku. Really cool artwork, though. Of course, this, and I want to say, I believe we have a secret rare print. I want to say there were secret rare prints produced in one of the Legendary Collection sets as well. Again, I keep on saying it again and again and again. The Legendary Collection sets are just such gold and gem and diamond mines. There's so many amazing things that you guys need to check them out. I'm talking about 3, 4 Legendary Collection Kaiba, GX. What was the other one? 2. Anyway, really great stuff. We got the ultra rare here, Voltic Kong, between 20 and 16. It's actually really insanely cheap. And I don't know what this card does. Never heard of it, anything like that. But for an ultra rare from Champion Pack, relatively on the definitely more affordable side. But there's a counter. So there's a cool little story if you guys don't know about counter. So the actual original common prints from whichever set, the core set that it came out, they actually made a factory error and it was not printed with the actual counter symbol. So this card was literally useless. You couldn't use it because this card literally is to counter another counter trap. But if it's not a counter, you can't counter a trap to a counter trap card unless it's a counter. It's a lot of counters. So that's a kind of little fun little misprint. I personally invested in a couple different ones. I think I have like 9 or 18 or something just because the history behind it's pretty cool. A lot of players didn't know about it. I personally didn't know about it. I actually researched it and then went and invested in the original prints myself because I thought that was pretty cool. So really cool stuff on there. And next is going to be the final and last Champion Pack 8. This was a powerhouse set. We have super rare Lumina, drawing between 100 and 220. Super rare Dimensional Fissure, drawing between 40 to 70. Mind Crush, super rare 52 to 100, and of course Prohibition. This has seen some exponential amount of side deck play of late. People have really opted to play this. There's a lot of boss monsters running around at 3, and people just smash around with Prohibition. It's been pretty cool. Now remember, there is higher rarities of this as a secret rare. Again, going back to old school Legendary Collection days, there was a secret reprint. Lumina obviously has ultra rare, multiple, like tons of ultra rare reprints. And I'm pretty sure that's the highest rarity of that, at least hierarchy-wise. Dimensional Fissure, again, saw secret rare reprints in one of the Legendary Collection sets. And Mind Crush, I believe, is an ultra rare as well, which I believe also all of these were reproduced. Not Lumina, but the Fissure, Mind Crush, and Prohibition were reproduced in higher rarities. And again, you guessed it, the Legendary Collection sets. You guys gotta check them out. Really great stuff. And I don't really see much of note. This card's cool. Beckoning Light. It's a good card in Light Sworns. And Necrogardna, again, another Light Sworn card. Royal Oppression. This card's super banned. It comes dual terminal. I would invest in it. Just saying. Next. Alright, so next I just wanted to kind of give you guys some seller tips. So I know the majority of you guys probably sell on TCG Play or eBay or whatever the platform. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes I sell too. And with much of everything else in life, when you buy in bulk, when you buy in mass, you save the dough. So really quick, I just wanted to show you some things on eBay here. So right here, this seller, Floyd5180 on eBay, is selling a 1,000. So this is a 10-pack of 100 box case of envelopes, and this is kind of a little tip for you guys. So again, this is going to be player preference, seller preference, white Mexican theory, whatever you guys want to say. Me specifically, the way I sell, I use 6 and 3.5 security envelopes. Those are smaller, so it kind of holds your Yu-Gi-Oh cards a little bit tighter. They don't move around as much. And that's just my personal thing. There is other different sizes. This is the most produced, the majority well accessible, smaller ones. They're called 6 and 3/4 envelopes. Security envelopes is kind of the more popular name for them. And you have to go with the peel, the peel and seal. As you can it's kind of hard to see. This picture's kind of blurry, but it's like a sticker. You peel it off and you can just close it. You don't have to tape it or anything like that. It just makes it faster. It's a luxury. It's a convenience, and that's just kind of what I like. And I figured the majority of people who sell Yu-Gi-Oh cardboard would like that too. So this seller right here is selling a case of 1,000 envelopes. And it's 39. Is it 39? Yeah, so it's roughly, I'm sorry, not 39. what's the 27? Yeah, 27, 30. So yeah, 49. So around 49. 27. I can't do math here. 27. Yeah. Let me check. Let me check this. So yeah. Spot nerves, got spot nerves on the live video here. So yeah, it would be 30. Yeah, 30, roughly around. So I say this is like 12. So 7, 8, 9. So 39. Yeah, so 39. So 39 bones. I'm sorry, I just completely had a meld dysfunction in the connectivity in my brain there. But 39 for this case of 1,000, which breaks it down and makes them insanely cheap. I did the math, quick fix on the calculator, and it's insanely cheap. It breaks down to really insane. And I spent quite a bit of time researching kind of the most affordable, and again, this was what seemed to be, in my personal opinion, this next time I already bought. And because like me personally, and the only reason I did this is because I literally, like 2 days ago, I went to Office Max and I bought 2 boxes of 50 each, same size, what I like, 6 3/4 security, seal and peel and seal or whatever. And I roughly got 100, because there was 2 boxes of 50, and I got them for, it was like 10 bones. It was roughly around 10 bones for 100. So obviously this is a lot more affordable. Once you break down the math, it makes sense. So really great stuff. So just an idea, again, buying in bulk for this stuff that you're going to use, especially if you sell a lot, it's definitely going to benefit you in the long haul. So next is going to be stamps. Me personally, I don't really like to sell a lot of high-end cards, because I don't like to go to the post and buy the tracking, do all this stuff. I mean, when the opportunity arises and it's a good time to sell, I'm going to do it. I'm going to, obviously, to sell higher stuff, it's not really, it depends on, player preference and, timing and everything. But for the most part, I really tend to, at least for TCG player, I really tend to sell on the lower-end cards. And, stamps are obviously going to be, really important. You're going to need stamps in general. So for the most part, average for like a physical stamp, sticker stamp, it's roughly around 55 cents here in the USA. I know you can get them for like 47 or 48 if you like print them off and do all the weird stamps.com and have the machines and all this weird stuff, and I don't want to mess with that. The White Mexican is really simplistic. I have my Dymo label printer, my laptop, my external hard drive, and I'm pretty much good to go. That's like my assembly factory line for selling cardboard. But anyway, so right here, this is no longer available. Obviously, I was actually thinking about buying this. I was on my watch list for a while. Unfortunately, someone else bought it, but which is fine, because I have plenty of stamps right now. But again, I'm just trying to show you guys the really affordable way again. And of course, this, on eBay, it's just one platform. I mean, maybe cheaper on other platforms. Me specifically, it's between TCG Player and eBay. Obviously, TCG Player doesn't have shipping stuff, so eBay is going to be kind of the way. Some people will probably use Amazon, but I'm just comfortable with eBay. I sell on eBay too, personally, sometimes, so I'm going to kind of just prefer this. But anyway, so the thing that kind of goes with these is rolls. So in every roll of stamps, there's 100 stamps. This was selling 5 rolls, so 500 stamps, and it was $190. Free shipping, just flat, straight across the board and everything like that. So really great stuff. And again, simple stuff. So 190 bones divided by 5 rolls of 100, so it's 38. So 38 bones per 100 rolls of stamps is definitely, well, not a whole lot, but it's a lot cheaper than the standard 55 per stamp. So again, buying in bulk is the way to go if you guys are into, selling a whole bunch. And I mean, why not? The game circulates, so why wouldn't you want to do that? So next is going to be present card. Still to the date, this is a solo print common dawning on Invasion Vengeance. And again, Invasion Vengeance, this was the set right after Raging Tempest, when Zoo Era kind of took over the game state and all the crazy shenanigans. But it's a pretty relatively old set. I mean, Invasion Vengeance was a 2016, if I'm not mistaken, release set. So the sheer fact that this is still a solo print is pretty incredible. The only reason why I'm saying this is because this is played in the Deck Out deck. And it's a really crazy deck. I actually just ran into it. One of the last games I played online when I was messing around with my anti-meta build, I ran into this deck. And it's actually again, I'm just kind of into like really silly decks every once in a while, so I can appreciate it. Of course, they got Chain Burn out there as well, which I'm going to show you for the next card. But this is used in this deck that basically tries to completely deck you out. It's a pretty silly deck, but it's relatively fun to play against because they use a whole bunch of stuff like the Chalice card or whatever. But anyway, this is a solo print, and obviously the only really rise predominance that this card's ever going to really use is going to be obviously that deck. Pretty cool artwork. I just wanted to showcase it, give it some love because it's a solo print, and it's about half bone for the first one of near mint first edition, and it quickly goes to about a bone after that. Here's a 12 stack for lightly played near mints. 4 pages on the market, so pretty cool stuff with present card. Next, for all the burn players, you have a gift card. Now this still again is a solo print common, Dawning from Tactical Evolution, which is an insanely old set. So this is very interesting that this is slipped by the cracks and still has not been reprinted. This, obviously being significantly older than Invasion of Vengeance, has a lot fatter price tag. We're looking at Near Mint Unlimited starting at 3 bones before you factor in shipping. First editions are 3.5 plus shipping. Then it goes straight to 4 after that, and there's 3 pages on here. You really don't see a lot of stacks. I mean, they're all pretty much 1-ofs besides these 2-2-ofs. So pretty incredible values. Again, this just being a solo print is really the reason why it is donning a relatively good price point, being just a lowly of a common. But you got to remember, this is played in a variant of burn decks, and they love this card at 3. So pretty cool artwork too. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about is going to be the last Lost Art promotion, the Larks. So the first thing I want to say is, do any of you guys know why Arrival Rivals is not listed on TCG Player? I know it's one of the newer ones, but I just thought that was really curious. I don't know why we can't find it, why it's not listed on here. I just thought that was really strange, because I was actually given 2 copies right before I left Texas, before I moved to New York, from a game shop owner, and it was pretty cool. It was like, hey, you want these? And I'm like, yeah, cool. And it was just it was a fun little story. So this is not listed on TCG Player, which I thought was kind of strange. I don't really know why. It is, of course, on eBay, and it's kind of a plethora of different prices. I mean, this is on bid for like nothing. This is like 10 bones. This is like on bid but it has the Harpies stuff with it. This one's 12 bones. If this card really is 12 bones, you guys can take my copies for 24 bones. I would love to pitch this card for 12 bones a piece. That's an insane price point. Obviously, the censorship here, this is the what's it called? This is the old artwork. This is what the original artwork looks like, and then the new artwork. She's just it's supposed to be like replicating violence. Apparently, you can see she's actually pulling her face here. She's holding her hand away from her face here. But in the lost art, she's actually like pinching her cheek. It's really stupid. And this kind of goes into my next part. The lost art promotions is a really good ploy by Konami. I think it's cool that we're finally being introduced into some of the original artwork as the Japanese artist intended with the uncensored, but the choices have just been so god awful, like terrible. Dark Magician Girl was a good choice, but if you guys saw, my other videos, it's ultra rare. I hate ultra rare a lot. There's a very, very exclusive ultra rares that I really appreciate. I mean, I'm talking about like Gen 1 first editions, Dual Saga, Dual Terminal, and that's pretty much it. I don't really kind of mess with ultra rares too much. I don't know, there's something about them. It's player preference. It's kind of just this weird phobia that I have. I just find ultra rares really disgusting. So it's extremely unfortunate that all of the lost arts are in the crappy rarity of ultra rare. I'm just not a fan. But Dark Magician Girl, even though it's not the best artwork, it was definitely a good ploy. I actually think it's a smart move by Konami to do a second wave of these just because it was so hot and so many people went crazy about this. I personally did not. If you guys don't know, I still believe and I still stand firm that the OCG artworks, and just with the sheer fact that OCG, they have Prismatic Secret, they have Ghost, they have Dual Terminal, they have all these amazing rarities, And in the all amazing, uncensored, just pure raw artwork of these cards, and it's just, at least for Dark Magician Girl, when I was referring to those rarities. So I still think that the OCG, specifically for the majority of them, but more specifically for Dark Magician Girl, is always going to still just hold really great value. And especially if they're going to be pumping us out these crappy ultra rares for the TCG, like, hell no. This is just, I've never been a big fan of this. You can maybe call me biased again, because I lived in Japan for 2 years and I invested very heavily in a lot of high rarity OCG stuff. More specifically, my target audience was uncensored stuff, and I definitely took a big blunder and lost when Konami announced this Lost Art stuff. But I'm not really sweating too much about it. I'm not losing too much sweat about it, because there's just, until they make some better choices of actually cards or higher rarities, like at least secret rares, I'm really not concerned. And I don't think you guys should be concerned with your OCG investments either. You have to be specific though, and you have to really know what you're doing. OCG definitely is a hard road to travel when you're trying to invest, especially when you're trying to sell in the United States. It's extremely difficult, unless it's extremely high rarity, a high-end rarity card, and coupled with it being really old and being like obviously an uncensored chip card and a higher rarity than what we have here in the TCG, like it's going to be extremely competitive. I know personally, I had to sell a lot of stuff before I moved out of state, and I definitely took some big hits on that. So definitely know what you're doing when you want to invest in OCG stuff. There's very small specific market of things. You know, it's obviously player preference and seller preference, but there's always has to buyer. That's the biggest thing you guys got to remember. If you guys are going to make an investment, the MVP takeaway of this video is there always has to be a buyer's market, so you guys got to be aware of that. So again, just to wrap things up, Dark Magician Girl was a good choice. Monster Boy was a good choice. Exodia was stupid. That's barely a difference at all. Skill Drain was stupid. They just added these horns. The minor orbs versus horns. A very, very minute change. The Harpies was actually, I was surprised. I thought them bringing the Harpies was really good. Obviously, there's some big changes with the Harpies cards. Foolish Burial is really cool. A lot of people like myself, I would love to get this card. If it came in anything besides Ultra, I would actually love to play this version. And Judgment with the Halos was pretty alright. Call of Haunted, they changed the crucifixes, barely noticeable. I actually personally don't like even the grenades. I thought it looked cooler. Our version was cooler. Harpy stuff was pretty good. Hades, again, just changed the horns. I don't even know what they changed on this, honestly. Like, it's barely noticeable. Same with this. Obviously, this just changed it to blood. They made it blood, but it's not super gory. It's not really super juicy. This was just the hood. They changed the hood, made it actually into a hood. Before it was just a headband. So religious. The cool behind it. The trying to shield from the religious nun exposure or whatever, but it's just too minute to really be of much of interest. Kind of same with Offering to the Dooms. This the weapons ones are so dumb. Legendary Fisherman, this is a really cool card. OG Pharaonic Guardian, not Pharaonic Guardian, of Pharaoh's Servant, but they actually made the spear a spear. It was stupid. It literally had like a little clown nose on the spear, and they actually just gave it a point. Like, big deal. Obviously horns, this was changed completely. This is a completely different artwork. This is a guillotine, which, you know, it comes ultimate rare in the OCG, so this ultra rare is nothing, in my personal opinion. And then I don't even know, Frightful Leo. So anyway, they're just stupid choices, just very, very stupid choices. Again, the only things that are going to have any kind of value, in my personal opinion, is going to be the Dark Magician Girl, the Monster Reborn, and really the Foolish Burial. Honestly, everything else is very just too minute, in my personal opinion. I mean, player preference, you guys can invest in whatever you want, but I still think that OCG is king when it comes to rarity and artwork, especially seeing how Konami is really putting us in a very, very small box with just releasing these cards from this one set solely, and in the crappy rarity of ultra rare. Who knows? When time changes, Konami decides to change it up, and maybe there's Lost Art Generation 2 or whatever, and they make them secret rares, then, you know, that would actually be something to consider. But that's all I'm going to say about the Lost Arts. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. I would love for each and every one of you guys to add me, message me. Yu-Gi-Oh has been part of my life for two decades now, and I'm really compassionate about this game. I love this game. I love the trading, the investing, the friendship, the brotherhood. There's so many different amazing things that this game can do if you just kind of open up, invest some time, invest some funds, and there's just it's really important to have positive hobbies in your life. A lot of great energy that comes with this game. So I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.